And welcome to Cowboy Logic. Boy.
Spaghetti Western. I like spaghetti westerns.
Spaghetti Western is really good, but boy, I wish we could go back to those days.
yeah.
Because we actually had Democrats and Republicans who worked for we the people. I think it's pretty apparent lawmakers don't really give a crap about us. We aren't $38 trillion in debt, in my opinion. We're $38 trillion in theft. Ugh. You know, we have a spending problem for sure. I have some stats here. California's NGOs, 213,720 different NGOs for over 593 million, okay? Billion, I'm sorry. Pretty soon we're talking about real money. Okay, New York State, 132,000 NGOs, 458 billion. Minnesota, 41,000, 124 billion. Need I go on? It's unbelievable. And then what do? They go ahead and they fund the National Endowment for Democracy, which was put in during the Reagan administration, not as a grassroots initiative, but as a structural workaround. And the purpose, get a load of this, was explicit. It was to move sensitive political influence operations out of the CIA, because they're not supposed to operate here, and into civilian-branded entity that could operate with congressional funding and public cover. Check this out.
Fake NGOs. I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, "Hey, be quiet about this." So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. Mm-hmm. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme. Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are almost synonymous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, then people are saying, well, why isn't George Soros arrested? He's sort of kind of the tip of the iceberg. There's a bunch of billionaires. Royal Reagan Singham, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce his name. He actually lives in China. He's a tech billionaire that made his money here. He's funding a lot of this. But let's look at why none of these people have been arrested.
I think I found the real reason George Soros is still allowed to operate freely inside the United States while he's been kicked out or heavily restricted in Russia, Hungary, Turkey, Pakistan, Poland, the Philippines, and a half dozen other countries. The answer is simple, and it's hiding in plain sight. George Soros has probably been one of the CIA's most valuable private assets for over 40 years. He's the civilian deniable billion-dollar funding arm of American regime change operations worldwide. That's why no attorney general, no Congress, and no president has ever seriously moved to shut him down here. He's not just allowed in America, he's protected. This is why both George and Alex are so arrogant. If you've seen my video on color revolutions, you already know the script. Soros bankrolled this prototype in Serbia in 2000, refined it in Georgia in 2003, Ukraine in 2004, and the Arab Spring in 2011. The same USAID, NED, and Open Society Foundation's logos appear in every single one. The Arab Spring was the trial run for Europe's migrant crisis. In 2011, the CIA and Soros turned that playbook on Libya and Syria. Gaddafi warned the West in March of 2011 that if you take him out, millions would flood Europe from Africa. 8 months later, he was dead, and Libya was chaos, and the migrant waves began exactly as he had predicted. By 2015-2016, battle-hardened jihadists and economic migrants were streaming across the Mediterranean with iPhones, prepaid cards, and Twitter guides written in Arabic, the same social media mobilization tactics used in Kyiv and Tahrir Square. Wayne Madsen called it straight in 2015. This was a deliberate Soros CIA social engineering operation to fracture Europe from within. Same playbook, new target. And now we have America, 2020 to present. Remember the 2020 summer riots? Soros Open Societies Foundations gave at least $33 million to the groups that organized and sustained them. How about the Southern Border Caravans? Soros-backed NGOs provided the lawyers, the maps, and the logistics. How about defund the police and DAs in every major city? Soros money elected them. They're running the color revolution playbook on us now. Only this time, the target isn't Belgrade or Damascus, it's you. And this is why JFK was right. After the Bay of Pigs betrayal, President Kennedy reportedly told aides he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds. He never got the chance. 62 years later, we're living in the world the CIA built. One where a Hungarian-born billionaire who collapsed the Bank of England can pour unlimited dark money into American elections and street movements, and nobody in power dares touch him. Because he's not a liability, he's their most successful off-the-books contractor. The only question left? If Hungary, a country of 9 million people, can pass Stop Soros laws and kick his operations out, why can't we? Maybe it's time we finish what JFK started.
Well, that would be nice. That's at Dreamseeker62 on TikTok. She really is awesome. So with George Soros and everything that he's doing and all these funding, these NGOs, what do you see? You see the same signs everywhere, the signs.
Right now, I'm following the money. Let's see where they go. We're following these paid protesters and seeing where they're bringing all these signs to. Obviously, these signs are going somewhere, and we're here to figure out where they're going, because this is kind of odd. Look at all these signs that we have over here. Where are they going with this? Watch them all just hop in a van and be on their way. Hey, excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question about why you guys are carrying all these signs? Sir, would you be able to answer a question? I'm just curious to know where you guys are bringing all these signs and where do they come from? They look very nice. How much did you guys pay for these signs? Yeah, what about the CCP funding allegations? Is that something that you know about? Did you guys like... The people's for it, right? Oh, look, they're hopping in the car. Well, the van has officially pulled up. Now we're over here. Now we have followed the money. And here they go. Now they're bringing it all in. Look at this. Where's this stuff going to? Anyone want to answer? Where's it going to next? They don't want to talk.
You know what's unbelievable? We found this out with the Antifa princess outside the Gulag for all the times they were out there singing the national anthem. She'd be there for like 1 hour with the bullhorn and everything else, and then she'd leave. Gee, I wonder if she's being paid. That, goes back to my rock and roll roots. Yeah. Signs everywhere sign. That was the 5-man electrical band, one-hit wonders. That's all I could think about when I was watching that.
There's no way I could answer that question if you'd ask who sang that.
You would if you grew up in rock and roll. Hey, I do have a really, really good story, though. Scott Lebedo, who Don spends hours editing when we have him on the show, because every other word
lately it's been me that's been editing.
One of the 7 dirty words you can't say on radio and television, according to George Carlin. But he said he wanted to put a big, beautiful flag. You guys ever see these Camping World locations? They have this huge flag at the Camping World locations. Well, Scott Lebedo said he wanted to do that for Ground Zero, similar to the ones that Donald Trump put in at the White House. Well, apparently they cost $200,000 each. So he said he wanted to okay this with the 9/11 Commission, and he was asking for donations. Well, Camping World's Marcus Lemonis, I believe that's how he spells his name, has stepped up to the plate. He said, "You don't have to ask for any donations. I will give you the $200,000.
Nice
cool
Camping World.
That?
Nice Camping World.
Love you, Camping World. Try to patronize that place if you can, because he stepped up to the plate. The 9/11 Commission has to okay it, but I don't know why we haven't had a big old American flag at Ground Zero in 25 years already. But that's another story. Well,
yeah,
we'll be back with more headlines, things that you really might not want to know right after this. Hey everybody, Donna Fiducia here to talk to you about Cowboy logic cowboylager.com. And boy, do we have so many goodies. We have the glasses. Well, first of all, we have the highball glasses and your cocktail glasses, cowboylager.com. Or you have the carpenter pencils, which Don loves so much, and he shows them all the time on our show. And, well, it comes with a sharpener, too, cowboylogiclaser.com. And you got coffee mugs. Anything you want, they can laser it on. Now, this one I'm not even going to open up because I almost chopped my finger off first time, but they do have a Cowboy Logic laser knife as well. Anything you want, cowboylogiclaser.com, cowboylogiclaser.com, promo code 1776, get you 10% off, folks. And the stuff is just really great. It supports the show, and we really do appreciate it. cowboylogiclaser.com.
Hey everybody, Don Newen with Cowboy Logic here. Talk about our newest sponsor, Nemo Arms. NemoArms.com. Trot over to that website and check it out. You're going to be blown away at the quality and craftsmanship behind these fine weapons. It's the only weapons company Cowboy Logic endorses. Nemo Arms at NemoArms.com. You want a 223-556 AR platform? NemoArms.com. You want to bump it up a little bit, go to a 300 blackout? NemoArms.com. You want to get one of them big boys? How about a 300 Win Mag that won't take your shoulder off because they have fine-tuned the recoil problem? NemoArms.com. We got lightweight models. We got the big stout 458s. These are huge. Hey, Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. They've also got a beautiful selection of shotguns over and under. Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. Go check them out.
And we're back.
Hey, did you guys like that boxing video?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, trying to figure out how to create music that was the theme of Rocky, but chicken picking country music guitar playing was not an easy task. So I think you all need to clap your hands right now.
Oops.
For the job well done with the chicken picking theme from Rocky.
Round of applause.
Yes,
There's the
yes,
round
that
of
was
applause.
hard. That was difficult.
There you go.
All right. Back. I'm not going to say anything again.
We haven't talked about Somali fraud yet because I'm trying to avoid it. But how can you not look at what's going on? And I hope that this gets over to California because I think it's much worse. It's looked at Newark, New Jersey. It's looked at Atlanta. It's looked at Ohio. And again, more Somali fraud in Minneapolis with Dave and Nick.
When a Somali goes to the doctor, magically they forgot how to speak English, so they need an interpreter there. So the county brings in an interpreter at $100 an hour, minimum 8 hours, to interpret what the doctor is telling the patient.
So that's another layer of fraud that nobody's even talked about or revealed.
And it's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars all on its own. Interpreter services.
Yeah, because what percentage do you think of these people, especially if they were born here in the United States, they speak English, right? Like
Of course they do.
They should not be saying no English.
And then remember, the interpreter has to get to the doctor's office or the hospital. How are they getting there? The transportation company, and then they got to get back home. And that patient had to get to the doctor's office. How? Transportation. Kids got to get to school. How? Transportation. That's why I said the transportation is the hub of really, I think, all of this.
So basically what we're talking about between all these fraudulent businesses, the daycare, the autism centers, the adult daycare, the home services, and then the transportation, and then on top of that you have it looped in with them going eventually to the doctors for translators to be paid by the state.
That's exactly what's happening, yes.
I got to be honest, Donna.
God,
Hey, listen.
they're creative.
Before Donna and I started doctor shopping, meaning we just selected the doctors that we wanted caring for us, there were times I felt like I needed an interpreter to understand what my doctor was saying to
Yeah.
me.
Well, they come here and they work for a lot less. By the way, the Minneapolis police chief, Brian O'Hara, is married to Wafia O'Hara. She is a Muslim police lieutenant in Newark, New Jersey. How does that work? She is the #1 ranking Muslim woman in law enforcement. By the way, Newark, New Jersey just raised the Islamic flag, as did Patterson, but that's why I left 20 years ago. The whole
I
thing,
thought I
though,
was why you left 20 years ago.
yeah, that was part of it. This, unfortunately or fortunately, you can always go to the videotape, and this one didn't age well.
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes.
Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked.
Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
The American people are fundamentally pro-legal immigration and anti-illegal immigration. We will only pass comprehensive reform when we recognize this fundamental concept.
Oy, oy, oy. I can't believe he's still there. I can't believe he's still there. They're smurfing, which is the small campaign contributions. Act Blue, how it works is USAID money is sent to shady foreign countries as a donation. It's usually used on a gift card and then to Act Blue, and then Act Blue gives it to the Democrats to get elected. And you always wonder, there are Republicans too, as we saw Elon say, but 99% of it pretty much goes to the Democrat Party and big government. It's ridiculous.
You mean people that are like retired on Social Security aren't really giving $75,000 a year to Democrat politicians?
Yeah. No, they're not.
Ooh.
It's being stolen.
Yeah.
And let us all remind everybody, let's go to the videotape on this, that Hakeem Jeffries lied under oath.
Under current law, undocumented immigrants are already ineligible for Medicaid, the ACA exchanges, and for SNAP benefits. Not a single undocumented immigrant in this country gets a dime in federal taxpayer dollars for any part of comprehensive Medicaid coverage. Not one. And so when we're talking about nearly 14 million people who are going to be thrown off their health insurance, millions of others who are going to be jammed up by this aggressive cut to SNAP, the largest cut to food assistance in American history, we're talking about American children. We're talking about everyday Americans. We're talking about Americans with disabilities. And when it comes to nutritional assistance, we're talking about veterans who have served this country, sacrificed, risked it all. And they're going to lose access to the food assistance they need to live a life of dignity and respect. Those are the facts. That's why we're fighting hard to stop this GOP tax scam that will hurt everyday Americans dead in its tracks.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. You're giving illegals $3,800 a month. People who work 50 years for Social Security. Don has to work an extra 2 years, by the way, because they just raised the Social Security age. I mean, the average is $1,200 a month. Even with no tax on Social Security, it's a mere pittance. It's a great idea. It's a great start. But this is what they're doing. They realize the Democrat Party, and I'm preaching to the choir with the RAV audience, I know. But they know the Democrat Party is clueless, so they have to import more Democrat voters. And we're going to talk to Joe Von Hutton Pulitzer and also Stuart Rhodes and Ivan Raiklin about the Insurrection Act. Everybody's saying Trump should do it. We'll see what happens with what's going on in Minnesota. But you know what's really unbelievable is how the protesters are just... They don't know. They're just totally clueless.
How do you feel about the Somali fraud in Minneapolis?
I'll be honest, I haven't researched it a lot, but from what it looks like to me is it looks like it's a made-up concept from people trying to smear Governor Walz.
I checked into that a little bit, right? There's nothing going on there. There's like this edgelord going around stirring up his mega conservative base, but none of this stuff is rooted in truth and reality. And I think if you just go out, do your own research, like actually do that, like go out and just like look at video evidence, come to a realistic opinion about what's going on in the world. It's a scapegoat, right, for anti-Somali immigration hate.
I don't know much about the Somali fraud. Sounds like.
So there's a question as to whether it is a fraud. I don't know. I'm not following that real closely. So I will reserve judgment on that.
I mean, I think that they were just using this as an excuse to go in there and scare people and show that they can be really powerful. I don't think it's authentic at all.
Didn't Forrest Gump have
I would
thing
say
for
that with those 5 individuals that were interviewed by that guy, that the cumulative IQ score is probably still in double digits.
Didn't Forrest Gump say stupid is as stupid does? I mean, they're there protesting. They probably are paid. In fact, Laura Ingraham actually asked somebody, and they admitted they were being paid by whomever. But, I mean, this is unbelievable. Hopefully by the time you see this show, we will have the Insurrection Act put in there. But I wanted to give you an update real quick on the seditious 6-2. Senator Alyssa Slotkin is also under federal investigation. And, she is the wife of Jake Sullivan. Reports are that she reaped millions in smurfing, which is, again, what I talked about earlier with Act Blue. But... I mean, Jake Sullivan is the guy who pretty much did the Russia hoax and everything else that we've seen that's been turned into a coup against we, the people. And it's really sad. It's really sad. We're looking at a whole bunch of stuff coming up, and, man, we are on the edge. Do or die at this point, because if we lose the midterms, that guy who just saw, Hakeem Jeffries, will probably be the Speaker of the House. Oi. We'll be back with more after this.
He's got the red, white, blue, blind hound on the farm. Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spent a little more in the store for a tag. In the back it says USA. He won't buy nothing and he can't fix.
Patriots Relief, your America First CBD company. We are Christian, conservative, and committed to helping you feel your best. Are you tired of chronic pain holding you back? It's time for a change. Experience the remarkable healing properties of CBD, expertly designed to alleviate pain and promote internal balance. Patriots Relief is here for you. Visit our website or call now. Use your promo code to unlock exclusive savings. Patriots Relief, helping you get out of pain and live life to the fullest.
One way or another, you fall in line, or the CIA makes sure you're out of time. One way or another, you fall in line. One way or another, you fall in line. Economic hitman, I sell the future for a 5-star scam. Economic hitman, your war, your Porsche, your blood, your land. Economic hitman, all part of a master plan. Economic hitman, confess it now while I still can. I'm an economic hitman. One night in a Panama suite, ghosts of leaders I buried under Wall Street. To Rio smiling through the smoke. Said you still got time before you choke. I see the pattern, I see the game. Every war's the same damn flame. So here's my confession, loud and clear. The empire's built on debt and fear. Don't know me, I sold the world for the corporate clan. Don't know me, but the truth's a blade and it cuts both ways. Don't know me, now I'm burning down my own resume. Don't know me, now I'm screaming it while the whole world stands. Don't know me, wake up, rise up, break the chain. Don't know me, before they hit you once again. I'm an economic hitman. I cashed the checks, I wore the crown.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Economic Hitman. And that has not yet been released, but we're wanting to tease things a little bit for you on that. And we let Jovan, our next guest, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, check that song out. Welcome, my brother. How you doing?
He has no voice.
Well, no, I decided to finally profess my love for you, Donna, and put on my late night.
That's right.
And love radio voice.
That's quite saucy.
An attempt to woo you away from that cowboy.
Where's Allison Steele when you need her?
Hey, listen.
New York radio people, go
told,
back and find out.
Truth be told, every day when I get home from work, every day when I leave to go to work, I got Jovan's voice in my house.
It's true.
It's like he lives here with us.
It's true.
And that's just fine, brother. We love you, man.
Contrary to popular belief, you did do a full forensic audit in Maricopa County.
Yes.
And just before we went on the air, you basically said, look at what they're avoiding. And that's exactly what I'm thinking, because they avoid you like the plague.
Right.
But let's get to that in a minute. Let me do my introduction. If you folks aren't familiar with Jovan, JovanHuttonPulitzer.locals.com. He's on, well, he calls it Cut the Crap. That's culture, race, and American politics, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time, 7 days a week when you do have a voice.
Or you can come to our house and listen to it, because it's on here every day.
And you can see in the back there, this Food Forest Bible and also Countdown to Chaos, which basically tells you how our elections are federalized and we're screwed. But that's where we're going to start right now, because Don was asking about Maduro before we went on the air, so I asked your question.
Well, before we get to that question, ladies and gentlemen, you see a crawl going across the top of the screen. We're going to have this up for the majority of these 4 segments, this hour that we have Jovan with us. If you want to make a difference, and if you want to help this man out, that's how you do it, right there, okay? And we'll let him explain the importance of that. But we're going to have that in your face the entire rest of this interview with Jovan. Jovan, my question is simple. Why do you think that Maduro is on U.S. soil? We know why he's in the Southern District of New York, because that's where he was indicted out of. We know why he's in the Brooklyn
penitentiary.
Well, it's not a penitentiary, but we know why he's in the what am I trying to find here? Brooklyn jail. Okay. Why did we bring him here? That's what I want to know.
Political kabuki theater. It is total vapor BS. Let me just kind of spew this at you at once so you understand. This is my personal opinion. I'm deep in the trenches of how all of this works. Here's what I think happened. First off, I want to remind you, everybody that came out and said, starting in 2020, it's the machines, they swapped the vote, we saw it on TV, we have it all, we got the PCAPs that went to all these countries. That entire racket is based upon the Election Assistance Commission, the Help America Vote Act, that basically says all of that is non-enforceable and at worst case a misdemeanor. Well, hijacking a country in an election is not non-enforceable to me, and it is not a misdemeanor. And so with America now understanding what's going on and us getting a full forensic audit in Arizona that can show you on the ballot what happened and how it happened, you have to understand the whole system had to avoid that like a plague. Why? If you said somebody rigged the machine, it's a misdemeanor and you can't prove it. If you show it in a ballot Each ballot is a state and federal offense. It's a felony. So this is a game between our government and thousands of politicians going to prison for federal racketeering or a slap on the hand. We know what our government already does. It's a slap on the hand. So here's what I think happened. All of these people that conned you, and by the way, not a single one of them can prove it. Doesn't matter. Not a single one of them can prove anything happened in the elections based on the formulas they use for the machines. But if you want to make it stick in the public minds, they keep on harping on this. It's Smartmatic, it's Dominion, it's this. Well, Dominion made billions by people making that claim, and Smartmatic was used exactly in one county, Los Angeles. That's it. One county. Even if we could wipe that one county off the voting books, it doesn't change what happens in the United States. And so in order for a system which is corrupt, which is bankrupt, which is unethical, to keep you focused on the machines, I think they ran a con on President Trump, who is very bitter over the 2020 election. You would be too. And all they did was complete the con. It's Smartmatic, it's Venezuela, it's this, here it is, go get Maduro. And they ran these little operations and got Maduro. So you think about Venezuela and you think that's what it's connected to. Here, let me give you a piece of linear thinking, sober judgment. If you can control the elections in the United States of America, put in your politicians, you control about $400 trillion of American wealth. Now, CIA and all these other guys throw elections. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the CIA is going to allow a CIA whistleblower to come forward and say, look, they did it, here's how they did it, and they're going to stop raping $400 trillion? Hell no. They're going to kill that asset. So why are you fool enough to believe that the CIA does it to you and that the CIA has allowed a whistleblower to blow the damn whistle? That's nuts.
Well, what we said before you came on the air, we were talking, is you got to look at who they're going against. And what they're doing against is trying to clean the voter rolls. Tom Fitton, I know because I am the smartest person in the room, except when you're on the air. Tom Fitton was able to get a lot of names cleared in Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles comes back and says, oh, we'll clear what, 100 a day or something, if that, so we'll be like 400 years old before that's done?
Look, it's all a racket. You have to pay attention to what they push back on. I give people the optics of this. When President Trump whipped Hillary because people got off their butts and went and voted. That's what they couldn't account for. They were using old data of people being apathetic. But people said, I can vote for this guy. They got off their butts and they went and voted. Well, when that happened, they had to try to excuse it. And they said, it's the machines. They rigged it. It was Russia. It was China. The very rat bastards we fight against say what? It's the machines. It's the machines. It's the machines. Then it goes full circles. They use the system to do it. And what do the Republicans say? It's the machines. It's the machines. All they're doing is taking turns. That's it. They're flip-flopping, taking turns to see who rapes America. The bottom line, it's just like a gun. If we were to analyze a shooting, it takes an individual, bad programming in the brain. It takes ammunition, that's the bullet. And then it takes the gun. Well, the gun in that scenario is only the machine. That's the same thing in elections. That scanner's only the machine. What it takes is bad intent combined with the ammo. What's the ammo? The voting rolls. That's what they fight to protect. No, you can't look at that. We can't share you those. You can't look at those. So they will allow you to waste your time all damn day long on the machines, because even if you hand vote, you know what? If they're on the voter rolls, they're getting a ballot. And even if you touch that ballot, you're not trained to know, was it a good voter or not? They're still going to take our elections. It's all a con. We've got to eliminate the voter rolls, not clean up the voter rolls. We've got to nuke them.
Well, that's what I said, if we made everybody re-register. And again, God bless him, Tom Fitton got 800,000 removed from Oregon. But then Oregon and Washington state radical judges stopped election reforms. This guy, John Chung, blocked it for the entire country, supposedly. I don't know how that's going to work. And then a Biden-appointed judge, Mustafa T. Yabadabadu, has blocked the federal government from accessing Oregon's voter rolls. So again...
And why are they doing that? Because that's the pathway to the money.
Yep. The pathway to the money.
Oh, they don't care about the machines. They want us to waste our time. Pay attention to what they defend. They don't want you to see that piece of paper which says exactly what happens, because if you see the paper and the paper's been manipulated, it is a felony. That's racketeering. So they won't let you see it. So they'll let you talk all day long about 6-degree polynomials, about the software machines do it, about swapping on TV. But when you get to their ammo of how they control us and move us around like game pawns, they play a game to hide it. Why? You cut that off, you cut off their money train, and we fix this.
Okay, well, when we come back, I want to find out how we fix that with Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, JHP, JovanHuttonPulitzer.locals.com, folks. We'll be back with more right after this.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Alright, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance. Crush a speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. You better gain weight. You better hit bulls out. A kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother. Ice, ice, baby, tickle. Ice, ice, baby, tickle.
Ice, ice, baby. Hey, did you hear?
Hey, Jovan, come in and do this with me.
Hey, I heard like 24 Minneapolis police actually quit and joined ICE. That was kind of interesting.
That's right. They want to go. They want to go fulfill their destiny, enforcing the law.
Yeah,
so
imagine
they went
that.
from lawlessness to enforcing the law.
Exactly.
Magic when that happens.
Okay, before the break, we'll want to put everybody's attention to Save the Evidence 2020. And that is saving the evidence from Maricopa County, which, again, you're attacked because everybody says you didn't have the evidence when you do have the evidence. I know that. Just briefly tell us the evidence you have that you actually told to President Trump.
Right. Let me explain the difference. When Maricopa failed to turn over one of the drives that had basically, I'm using round numbers, 165,000 votes on it, they said, well, we just forgot we archived this one. And they're allowed to talk about it as digital information. Well, that falls under the Election Assistance Commission. It basically means the rules are voluntary. That's a boo-boo. Now, if somebody wants to cop to it and say, I really did it on purpose, they're going to get a whopping $1,000 fine. However, if you look at that digital data, and you compare it to the 160,000 physical ballots like we did, you find out they changed every single ballot. Now, what that is 160,000 individual state felonies, individual federal felonies, and it means everybody goes away in the minimum term's 20 years. Which one do you want to focus on? The system covers for itself. That's how it works. Both sides benefit from this racket. We're never going to get change if we don't stick to our guns and hold them account. So that up there is exactly the evidence. They try to pretend like it doesn't exist because they don't want the world to see it. It's kept in a perfect chain of custody, which cost us dearly to keep on doing it and holding all this time. But it's the only thing that nails these rat bastards to the wall, and they're deathly afraid of it. But nothing's going to happen if you don't activate and help out. But if you want to go do 6-degree polynomials, buy a cross, wear it on your shirt, and pray, go ahead, but it ain't going to change anything.
Well, you know, just what you said, too, and we've been talking about it, that if they attack you or if they refuse to clean the voter rolls, that's the big story. Right here in Georgia, a supposedly red state, our good friend, Rat's Ass Booger, said he's not going to share voter rolls with the federal government because it, quote, would break the law. But
here's what you have is it's a compounding crime.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they reject, every time they repel, every time they refuse to turn over, when in fact we have empirical evidence, we now have something to measure against. So you now have the ability through this archive, this incredible archive of facts, to show what they're hiding. It actually impacts them in a criminal basis. That's why they have to keep on playing this game. And so the voter rolls is the ammunition for the gun. That's it. This stuff about it's PPI, it's personal information, you can't share it. It is a false premise. Here's why. It's just transferring from state government to a federal agency that oversees the state to verify if it's real. That doesn't go to the public. So they're using a little bitty twist like it's going to let people's names out. It's a total con job, them banking on you not understanding how it really works, but they need to stall. Why? Because every one of those inserted that they counted, put on the books, printed a ballot for, sent a ballot to, allowed a ballot to come back, counted that ballot and certified that vote, that right there was 9 felonies in a row. That's why they can't let you see it.
Why do you think they suddenly are coming out with all this stuff, though? Georgia, 315,000 ballots 5 years later. Minnesota, Michigan, all these other states, again, except Arizona, because they know a full forensic audit was done there and they avoid it like the plague.
Well, it's the difference between having evidence and not having evidence. I told you a long time ago that the Georgia evidence was destroyed, not because of the deep state or liberals, but because of conservatives trying to play heroism. In Arizona, the reason they don't discuss it is because all of that empirical evidence exists in a physical state backed up forensically in a perfect chain of custody. So in these other states, they're trying to play a game with you like they're making headway. Oh, yeah, it was 300 ballots. Now, the reason they'll say that is because all of that evidence is gone. It no longer exists. So there is no enforcement. So they know that the public's getting educated. It's about physical evidence. And they ran the con of the PCAPs and the cyber symposium, and people want answers. So the government's moving a little to play like, oh, yeah, look, we found this here. But they know since there's no physical evidence, there can't be an enforcement. And it just looks like they did their job It's political theater.
Well, Harmeet Dillon, yeah, she sends a nice little letter, and then, 3 months later, nothing happened.
Why is she sending this letter if it's so clearly obvious that they're not there?
Yeah.
Because of people like you.
Yeah, okay.
Because of people like you. Because we talk to the American people, they know. Harmeet would not take my personal download on, here's the evidence, here's what happened. But they placed her in. But the groundswell from American citizens, knowing it's about the ballot, being absolutely disenchanted with I infiltrated an Antifa call, or it's a 6-degree polynomial giraffe fractal pterodactyl, or I saw him swap on TV. America knows the difference. And so these politicians, key is politicians, are trying to give a little bit of a way where it looks like they're doing their job. Here's the best example I can use. When everything went to hell in a handbasket in 2020, and everybody wants a full forensic audit. That's what everybody wanted. We got Arizona. We were going to do other states. The GOP made sure that got killed. Well, yes, the GOP did file lawsuits. I think they filed something like 71. They filed 71 lawsuits 12 hours before the statutes of limitations expired, so they could at least say, look, we filed all these suits, but dang, we missed the window. It's all political theater.
And that's what annoys me so much, because you've got Trump saying we need to clean the voter rolls, essentially, voter ID, same-day voting, paper ballots only. But then you have the RNC saying bank your vote. I mean, and the only reason why Trump won is because it was too big to rig. The whole down ballot got stolen. The RNC does nothing. And you've got them saying bank your vote, which basically shows your hand. It's no different than early voting. And it drives me nuts.
The war that's going on right now is President Trump says, get rid of mail-in ballots, get rid of the voter rolls, have ID. President Trump has the real scoop. I've personally debriefed him. You're now seeing Elon come back in and say, obliterate the voter rolls. So the people that are playing to win for this country are saying, obliterate the voter rolls. Now, inside, they're playing a different game because they're being paid off. They're being influenced. They want to stay in. They want to stay in power. So they're doing a word game like bank your vote. Well, let's play this out like it's your job. When you get your check and it's sent to you or handed to you, what do? Well, you'll go to your bank and put it in your account. That means you have to have the ballot in your hand, and then you're going to store it somewhere. So instead of saying early voting, which is a rig, instead of saying mail-in voting, which is the most important rig that they do, they just renamed it bank your vote. And so you can watch President Trump say, get rid of these mail-in ballots. At the same time, the GOP spends millions to put people on the road to tell you to bank your vote. Well, how do I bank my vote? Well, you get it early and you fill it out and you deposit it so it's in the bank and it'll be counted. Yeah. It's all a con. That is even how the GOP works against President Trump. I'm telling you right now, it's President Trump, almost with nobody around him, Elon and a few others that are telling you the truth, against a system that rapes us for billions.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of these people, in my opinion, don't want to have clean and clear elections because they wouldn't be in office if that were the case. I mean, the SAVE Act, I'm sure it's not perfect, and I want to get to that after the break, has been sitting on John Thune's desk since last April. You've got Elon pushing for it, finally, people saying, nuke the filibuster, do the SAVE Act, everything else. Nothing's getting done. They're going along to get along because I think they're trying to ride out the fact that once Trump is gone, it'll be back to normal. And we don't want normal. We'll be back with more with Joe Von Hutton Pulitzer right after this.
Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now.
Hey! Dana.
Yes.
We have to say Dana. Dana is one of our beloved viewers from the Pacific Northwest, and he's very active on social media with Real America's Voice, among many, many others. But the reason that we have to mention Dana every week is because we don't want to hurt his feelings. He's a wonderful person, and we care about him. And
I wonder how many
say
chords.
His name again.
Dana. I wonder
One
how
more time.
Dana.
Two more times.
Will you stop?
Two more times.
Dana.
Okay.
All right. I wonder how many cords of wood he goes through in a winter, though, because that's all he basically does during the chat. Be back getting another piece of wood to throw on the fire.
Throwing a log on the fire.
Warm up there in the
rolling
great
a smoke.
Pacific Northwest.
Cracking open a brew.
All right. And we're back with Joe Von Hutton Pulitzer, and we are going to need a huge brew.
Do you know
right
Dana?
Here.
Joe Von, have you ever heard of this guy, Dana, from the Pacific Northwest? Dana,
Dana?
D-A-N-N-A.
Yeah. You mean Dana?
Yeah.
Dana?
Yeah, Dana.
You mean Dana?
Yes.
We always mean
Dana.
Dana.
Dana. I'm just trying to make the meter go higher. Dana.
All right.
All right,
Dana.
say hello. Jovan, do a very special 4-second shout out to Dana. It's going to make his world.
Dana, you're the man. Dana, if there ever was an expert at handling wood in the world, you're it, my man.
Dana the manna.
It is. Okay.
Thank you, Jovan. All right, now let's get back to the depressing
I got to
stuff.
say, having you on, it's really kind of a downer. I mean, I'm sorry. Because what you do is you cut to the chase.
You guys hear that? You hear what she's doing?
Well, that's because I'm about to show everybody the book.
Yeah.
This really is the blueprint as to what's going on. So everybody's saying pass the SAVE Act. I'm saying that we should probably basically nuke all the voter rolls, make everybody re-register, because at that point you can see where all the chaos and the fraud, whatever you want to call it, is coming in. So tell us about the SAVE Act and will it work?
Well, here's the simple question. If bills and acts saved us, wouldn't we already be saved with all the bills and acts we've all gone through collectively in our life?
Yeah.
Of course. They don't save us. It's political theater. So let's talk about the SAVE Act. The number one thing about the SAVE Act is you got to have real ID. Now, real ID, they say real ID because they're trying to push the real compliant U.S. ID that says U.S. citizenships. But it is not mandatory. They cannot compel you to pay for that ID. So you can also have a U.S. passport. They will allow certain military IDs. They can allow government photo IDs, and they can allow naturalization. But that's only at the federal level. What do you vote for federally? Your president, your vice president.
Yeah.
Everything else is basically at the state level. And so that's where the state comes in. And so what happens at the state level, they're basically saying you have to have a mechanism that will have a person confirm that they are a citizen. Well, if they don't check the box, they assume you are a citizen. But is it a crime to not check the box? No. It's a boo-boo. Now let's look at what happens. If they think something went wrong at the federal level, meaning they think it was hooey for a presidential vote, then what has to happen? The state then has to kick in and do what's called an alternative process. Got to have a way that we can verify you, or you attest under penalty. What's attest under penalty? Hey, this is my signature. This is me. If you catch me, it's a boo-boo. I have a crime. Well, they sign that crap all day long. All it does is push it back to the states. That's all it does. They make it a federal rule, but people don't understand. We have 50 state elections which happen to have a federal component. If you want to have teeth, then we have a separate vote for our federal offices and a completely separate vote with a different document for the other ones, and we can get something done. But there are no penalties. There are no penalties to make it stick. Period, because it all falls under the same stuff, and it falls under the administration of the state, which, by the way, says we're overworked, so this must work within the Paperwork Reduction Act, meaning you can do it online. We don't have to see anything. We don't have to have a copy of paper. Now, you ask me, what does that save? It saves paperwork, but it doesn't save our nation.
Jovan, let me get something in here, Donna. Jovan, we have had probably the most effective Senate and House of Representatives in my lifetime, if the effectiveness is to do nothing for the past year. I am embarrassed by their lack of productivity, given the fact that we've had complete control.
Yeah.
Do you think
I'll give you a simple layup. One of the voter IDs you can use at the state level is you're taking classes at a college. What do they do with the illegals? Let them go take an English class for free, give them a student ID. They can use that to vote. And the states won't undo it.
Do you think it's absurd? And Congress is an embarrassment.
Yes.
Do you believe that we will, A, lose the midterms with regard to the House and the Senate, B, come January 27, they will start impeaching President Trump? And if so, Why do you think that this would get to this point?
One, it's by design. Let me tell you why. It's why by design. We didn't, and I disagree every time I hear it, but I want to let you know, we didn't overwhelm the vote to get President Trump in. They made a strategic decision. They weren't ready to pull that trigger yet, so they let Trump win. They took everything in the down ticket to move it really, really close. All the people they've been paying off, they're getting them to retire. We won't drag you in this. You just retire. They're moving the numbers closer and closer. When the midterm comes, we're going to get our butts handed to us. That's number one. Number two, yes, they are going to begin again impeaching President Trump. Now, here's the double-edged sword. President Trump is effective. What he says he's going to do, he does, and he expects it to work right. Well, number one, the deep state and the left do not want that on the record books. Here's the other news flash. Other politicians, even if they're just kind of half holes or everything else, they don't want to be measured against an effective person either. So they, too, don't want to be measured against a hard standard of productivity because they'll continue to fail. So the entire system, you got to understand, they did this by executing a coup in the United States, which I believe included a pandemic. They're not going to let that stand. And so they have to get him off the books. They have to get his standards erased. They have to ruin his name. What better way than to impeach him and say he's a criminal, and then everybody turns the other way, which is what you're seeing happen.
Cleaning the voter rolls also means less money for the counties. You know, the more people they have, the more money they're getting. We're seeing that certainly in Fulton County here. Okay, we got 2 minutes. What do we do as far as cleaning the voter rolls? How do we do it?
Well, number one, you have to choose what side you're on. It's not parties. It's not left. It's not right. It's not Democrat. It's not Republican. It's either save America or become a slave to America. We have no guts. You will actually look at somebody get on TV and spend money telling you we have every county, they stole every election, there's 3,000 of them, they went to China, we can show you, we've got all the PCAPs, we got all that. They never deliver. You never hold them to account. Now you're going to reward them with a governorship in Minnesota. We are the problem. We have no standards. And until you get the testicular fortitude, whether you have them or not, you have to understand there are no more gray variables. You're either here to win and fix this or you're not. And if you're riding the fence in a popularity contest or you can't handle the truth, you have already been conquered. The only way we do this is stand our ground, get tough, stay tough, become warriors for truth, and call out all these rat bastards by sharing the truth. And that's why the truth will always set you free, period.
But, all right, we got 30 seconds. Can we clean the voter rolls, though?
We've got another segment.
Okay. Countdown to chaos, folks.
If President Trump makes a mandate, I believe, under critical infrastructure, he should, by the numbers that have come in of how many bad voters we have on the rolls, he should immediately, under critical infrastructure, declare a national emergency and demand them all wiped because they've been infiltrated and force everybody to start from zero again. It can be done under those terms.
Okay. So we need to be pushing that. Again, folks, you see across the top there, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, Give, Send, Go, Save the Evidence 2020 in Maricopa County. That will show you everything pretty much that happened in 2020 was stolen. We'll be back with more right after this.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives.
after being incarcerated.
And we need your help.
For just $10 or more, you're helping these patriots get mental, physical, and spiritual help.
Please scan the QR code or go to j6support.com to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for standing in the gap.
This is my forged in fire and pain, born for the fight, through the blood and the rain. America, hear me, I won't fade away. Political prisoner, but my spirit won't break. Never forget. Never forget.
General Flynn, who has endorsed Don Brown in North Carolina.
That's
folks.
right, North Carolina.
Don
You
Brown
better
for the
do
Senate.
the right thing with Don Brown.
Yes. Sidney Powell and General Flynn and Cowboy Logic.
And Cowboy Logic. We've endorsed him like 3 times.
Yes, and he's awesome, and he needs to win up there and keep the rhinos out. Michael Watley. All right. Before the break, Jovan, you were talking about the big thing that Trump does have that power to do, which surprised me because, like you say, you know, the deep state, I guess, kind of wasn't ready to let Trump lose, essentially. So he does have that power. Tell us again, what is the one thing he can do right now to fix the voter rolls?
If you believe, as I do, that 2020 was a coup and a pandemic, then you have to understand how they planned it. As part of that pandemic, heading into an election they knew they were going to take over, what they did for the first time in history is they named all of the election components part of American critical infrastructure. Now, they did this so they couldn't be questioned. They did it so, remember, they were building up to, they knew it in advance. Oh, it was the Russian. That's why they did the Russia hoax. Well, they had to convince you it was Russia, but they had to have the plausible reason they were watching it, which was critical infrastructure. That's what we covered in Countdown to Chaos. However, in that bill, in that move to make it critical infrastructure, they handed President Trump a gift, the fact that it is critical infrastructure. So under critical infrastructure, using empirical evidence that we have right now, I'm not talking about the crap we saw the machines change or the PCAP scam or any of that scam, none of it. The fact that we have so many states right now that we can absolutely prove that they're putting illegals on the voter rolls, that they have hundreds of thousands of voters that are on the voter rolls that are not there, I think he immediately, under a declaration of critical infrastructure, wipe out the voter rolls because they've been infiltrated and we no longer have control of them and we don't know who's inputting voters. If he did that one move, wiped them out all at one time, everybody equally, and forced the repriming of the pump with real ID, actual ID, we have a chance. And it can be done in time for the elections, but he's got to do it under a declaration of critical infrastructure. And everybody around him is going to tell him, no, you can't do that. And that's crap. Our elections are now covered by critical infrastructure. We know they've been infiltrated. We know they're out of control. We know all kinds of third-party NGOs add voters. Wipe them out, Mr. President. Let's start all over.
And then they can't say it's racist because everybody's
right.
got to do it.
Everybody
but then
got
they say,
impugned at the same time.
Yeah, it's so hard to re-register to vote, you know? Ugh.
Not at all. Not at all. Everybody shows up, make it a national holiday. Hell, I don't care. Pay the rat bastards 3 times their hourly wage to show up and vote. But they'll bring that ID and we'll have a clean voter roll to help protect our country. Quit wasting money on other crap. We'll pay people to show up and vote the right way, to show their right ID, and we'll get it done the right time. And everybody suffers, everybody benefits. But if we don't take it seriously under critical infrastructure, because this is war and they've attacked us, we are over.
Well, again, critical infrastructure, and that also serves the problem or solves the problem of all the illegals who've been put on the voter rolls, too. Some 20 million. Because, you know, I think that's why we lost so badly in these interim recent elections. Okay, yes. Critical infrastructure is Verizon.
Hey,
All right?
Yes.
hey, look, I got Donna on the front of mine.
No.
There you go. Look at her.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey,
What
I lost my Verizon service all day. I didn't get it back until I actually pulled in my driveway, whatever day that was.
Yeah, I was fine all day.
She had no problem. I lost it. Everybody at my office did. You got 5 minutes. Why did that happen? What's the real story behind that?
I think right now what's going on is they're testing out our critical infrastructure. We saw Verizon go down. We saw Google Cloud go down. We saw Microsoft go down. We saw Twitter go down over this last year. If you look at like the last 15 months, all our major nets have been attacked. If you look at our cellular system, communication systems, those have been attacked and went down. Those are large. They only happen by a direct attack. It's not a boo-boo event. It's an attack event. When you match that, and I looked at other events the other day, there's a really interesting thing going on. We have a same almost matching spike in the theft of first responder gear and technology. We have a spike in the attack and theft of guns, munitions, and military weapons at the same time. And we have attacks that almost map over of stealing explosive supplies. What I think is coming is we're going to get a big event. They are going to shut down our communication system so we can't learn on the net. We can't call each other. You're going to see a lot of people coming into your town that you're going to think are first responders, and it might be what Hamas is using to let you think the saviors have come, and then they're going to blow your ass away. All that perfect game of chess has been set up. You can verify that yourself.
Well, you know the most about pattern recognition, and that, unfortunately, is not what we want to hear. But the big thing is then you got to feed yourself, hence the Food Forest Bible. This, folks, I mean, the thing is heavy, and you can get it in paperback as well. Ours is autographed. But you can get it in paperback as well. Use it. Learn how to feed yourself. We learned from Dr. Peter Pry years ago, who was on the EMP Commission. God rest his soul. He's left us. That there are ways that local grids can be secured. I would say, again, locally, go talk to your local electric company. They have things basically that are surge protectors that they can put all along the way. Because if the big grid goes down, we've only got 3 in this country, it's going to take years for them to be remade. They're made in Germany. I mean, this is insane that we haven't corrected this.
We've been talking about this for 13 years.
Easily.
And I blame
years.
Congress for not twisting the arm of the electric companies to make this happen.
Yep.
Well, it's like the pharmaceutical industry. They've got all of us on a monthly consuming plan of drugs. Same with the damn utility companies. All they want is to keep those bills from rising and have 300 million people on it. If we're going to set our country free, we got to get energy sovereign. What that means is no longer off the grid. Here's how we do it. We have a grid. You're worried about your house going down. You have a backup generator. We've got to flip it. Entire neighborhoods, counties, or towns need to have their own independent grid. And if that goes down, then we go on the backup of the state. We've got to flip the tables and get energy sovereignty.
Well,
that's a great catch term.
Yeah, and the whole critical infrastructure thing needs to be totally pushed, and it's not, unfortunately. Supposedly Trump is looking into this, but again, just like the people around him in the first term, I'm not optimistic. Okay, Food Forest Bible, folks, again, learn how to feed yourself. This is a way that you don't even have to weed. And I know, man, I just threw some stuff outside and it grew.
Jovan, listen, I want to change gears. We got a minute and a half left. Donna,
Yes,
hold on.
Okay.
I want to give you a minute. Ron, go full screen on him. 1 minute, talk to President Trump.
As you know, President Trump, I really don't believe you have a lot of people around you that are supporting your exact mission. But America's counting on you. America's counting on you to stay in the fight and stick the distance. When I look at everything that's going on, it doesn't matter what it is. Our politicians ripping us off, Somalis doing money, all these allotments and stuff, cratering us. You only have one answer. That answer is we need to declare in our voting stuff critical infrastructure, and you need to immediately eliminate our voter rolls. Everybody in America starts from zero. one national day or several days to vote to get back on the list, prove who you are and vote. And if you can do that one thing, it stops everything from the drugs to the illegals to everything else, because it's the politicians and the crooked vote that enables it. You have the power under critical infrastructure. You got to bite the bullet, not listen to advisors, and do what's right for America. And you've got to burn the system down.
Well, you can't elect yourself out of communism and socialism. We're going to find that out if it's not fixed. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer again, folks, right across the top. Give, Send, Go. Save the Evidence 2020. If nothing else, we got to archive that. You know, man, it's just such a wealth of knowledge, and hours not enough, but we do appreciate it. JovanHuttonPulitzer.locals.com as well. We'll be back with more Cowboy Logic right after this.
Where my heart learned to stand, be the husband, the father, I'll be proud of who I am. Son, you were watching, so I stayed true. I was walking for you. I was walking for you. I'm proud watching you. So proud watching you. I was walking for you.
So I just sort of got a glimpse of what was in here. I am psyched. Here it is, folks. My Food Forest Bible. Yeah! Yeah, baby. Pull it out, see if I can get it out of the box. Put it in between. There you go. Ah, love it. Love it. Love it. And it's autographed. Oh my gosh. How lucky can you be? I'm gonna have to order the one that's not a coffee table book so I can use it every day. This one's going on the coffee table. Love it so much. Thank you, Jovan. Mwah!
Ink on the indictment still wet with your blood. Judges on payroll, gavels banging like a flood. Solitary key, just 23 hour black. They want us to crack, but we breathe through the crack. Letters to my daughter smuggled past the gods. Tell mommy I'm innocent, carved in the yard. You burn the flag of freedom on a global stage. We'll torture narrative in a white hot rage. And you feel the tremor in the prison yard ground. 1,500 souls still making.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Still there. Let me explain something. You guys are streaming the daylights out of that song. The only problem with streaming, and please keep doing it, is that it's almost nothing do we make off of that.
A few cents.
I need for you to download it. Download it. All of that money is going back into J6. We're not making a penny off of it. All right. Speaking of J6, we don't ever not cover it.
Let's bring in the two lawyers. One is a recovering lawyer, and one is the Secretary of Retribution there. That would be, of course, Stuart Rhodes and Ivan Raiklin. Actually, first of all, Ivan, I call it's not retribution to me. It's the Constitution. If we would just stick with the damn Constitution, maybe
Department
we'd
of the
be better
Constitution.
Off. Exactly. All right. Now, everybody knows Stuart's the main oath keeper, and he's only been commuted along with some 14 Proud Boys and oath keepers. And that's just not good enough. So let's get right to, you guys have been at the new Jan 6 committee hearings. And I talked about this last week on Real America's Voice when I was on the morning show. They're trying to reimagine, for lack of a better way of saying it, blame you guys, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, instead of Donald Trump, which none of you should have been targeted in the least. You were innocent people talking, trying to keep the peace, as Trump was too, compared to Minneapolis, which is insane. But right now, they're trying to almost justify the fact that you guys are only commuted and not pardoned. So explain that.
Right. So, I mean, the left, of course, goes all the way. They say that Trump is, the narrative from them is still from Jamie Raskin and Moskowitz on their panel, communist from Florida. Their line is still that Trump, led an insurrection. We were his lieutenants. Rick Achario, leader of the Proud Boys, myself, leader of the Oath Keepers, led our troops to go attack the Capitol. And so we expected that. And I sat in the front row of the guest section with Ivan, and they immediately attacked me, of course. But what surprised us was Troy Nehls, a Republican from Texas, from my home state, parroting about 90% of that false narrative. Like he channeled his inner Liz Cheney. And he just said, oh, yes, President Trump didn't have anything to do with it, but those Oath Keepers and Proud Boys did. That was the militias, the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. And Stuart Rhodes himself, said that if Trump doesn't fix this, we will. And so he directly endorsed and adopted 90% of the big lie being pushed all through 2021, all through ever since then, through the J6 Select Committee of 2022 in our trials. So it's really bizarre to watch a Republican basically throw not just all of us J6ers under the bus, but even President Trump. I'm still a co-defendant, along with Rick Achario and other Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, in 2 civil lawsuits, one filed by Benny Thompson, February 16, 2021. It's still ongoing. Members of Congress suing Trump, Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, alleging a conspiracy to overthrow democracy and disenfranchise black voters. And another one by a bunch of Capitol Police officers making the exact same nonsense arguments. So he's not helping President Trump. All he's doing is going 90% of the way. And I'm sure Jimmy Raskin is thrilled to have his cooperation with that.
Of course.
They'll be like, hey, thanks a lot. So if and when the Republicans lose the midterms, you can expect them to impeach Trump again, and they'll quote Troy Nehls. Look, even a Republican agrees that there really was an insurrection. So it was really bizarre and perverse to watch a Republican attacking us.
I want to add one thing.
Hold on a second, Ivan. Hold on a second.
Hold up, this is really important. The lawsuits against Stuart Rhodes and the president, those are coming from U.S. Capitol Police officers, which means the general counsel of the U.S. Capitol Police is probably squarely in the middle of advising them, the number one target of who needs to be investigated, and all of his work product and communications need to be scrutinized, meaning General Counsel Thomas DeBias.
Yep.
He is the deep state of the deep state at the U.S. Capitol Police, so we need to continue to shine a light on him.
Absolutely.
And they just, of course, got a plaque saying how great they are. But we were showing them for years how they lied under oath. And then they go back and said, well, in the case of the Oath Keepers that were in the Capitol with Harry Dunn, how he was like, oh, gee, thank you so much. And then he goes and testifies against them. I mean, it's insane what's going on.
Pause. Hold on. I want to say something here. I remember the day that Troy Nehls went into C2B. And he alienated every J6er that was in there. Every one of them, Mr. Nehls. Because of your behavior and your attitude toward those men. They haven't forgotten that. What you're talking about, Stuart, he's absolutely being used by the left.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the thing is, they cleaned up.
But this is not some new move on him. No. He's been doing this since his little book signing visit that he made to C2B.
And C2B was cleaned up. And I actually wrote him an email that afternoon saying, don't you realize you were played here? And he goes on John Solomon's show that afternoon and goes, well, it did sort of smell like Clorox. And they tried to backtrack on it a little bit.
But this is not new from Troy Nehls.
Yeah.
Troy Nehls has never supported any of these J6ers.
Yeah.
And so he's not going to want a truthful committee.
He walked in and said, any of you here who are being charged with assaulting a police officer, I'm not here for you. That's what I heard he said.
That's paraphrasing. It was even worse than that.
But the thing is
not
also
even addressing that no one got due process, no one got a fair trial, no one got any sort of due process procedure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
what did you say?
No, well, the thing is also, they don't show you the 44,000 hours because you guys have a right to defend yourself in many cases. If you're attacked, you have a right to defend yourself. Little old ladies getting pushed down the steps.
Yep.
People who...
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, President Trump knows that. That's my point, is that President Trump said these are hostages. And President Trump said in his Meet the Press interview, he said, of course they pled guilty. A man is offered, he said, it's a dirty system. He said, I know the system. It's a dirty system. A man is offered 2 years, take a deal and take 2 years, plead guilty, or you'll face trial and go to prison for 30 years. So of course he was defending that they pled out. A lot of them did. So it's bizarre to have the President of the United States understand the truth, understand that we were hostages, that we were being, political pawns trying to get us, or trying to get him through us. And why is Troy Nell so clueless? Why can't he understand that?
I just think
he's not clueless.
But they live in the swamp.
That's his narrative, man.
But out of everybody on that panel, Harriet Hageman did the best because she wasn't there. She took Liz Cheney's place, thank God, in Wyoming. So she doesn't drink the Kool-Aid. She hasn't lived there long enough to get all the crap going on in the D.C. swamp. Yeah. She looked at it from 1,000-foot view, and she was the only one who called it out. And God bless her for that.
Higgins did too. Clay Higgins did pretty good too.
Yes, Clay Higgins
calling out the feds direct. But sadly, though, both of them, along with all the other Republicans, seem to think that it really is Brian Cole as the pipe bomber. They're accepting this.
Yeah, that's so stupid. It doesn't even register. We have said countless times on the air. We've said it to Congress people that we've interviewed, and while you guys were still in prison, well, at least while Stuart was still in prison, we said all they want to do is testify before Congress under oath. That's all we want to have you guys do, and they avoid that like the plague.
Yeah.
Right. If I was recommending to this new subcommittee to Barry Loudermilk, I would directly tell him, your next hearing must be Stuart Rhodes as a witness, Enrique Tarrio as a witness, and Jeremy Brown as a witness. Those three individuals are going to lay out to you the entire weaponization scheme going into January 6th, on January 6th, and then after January 6th in a clear rebuttal of the entire 10 hearings that were conducted by the in coordination with the CIA's own staff director, David Buckley, Nancy Pelosi, Jamie Raskin, Liz Cheney, and then the general counsel of the U.S. Capitol Police. Those were the individuals that set the frame to weaponize illegally, unlawfully, with manipulated doctored CCTV footage and testimony of U.S. Capitol Police. Those three individuals, Stuart, Enrique, and Jeremy, will rebut the entire operation. So you might want to have that hearing, Mr. Loudermilk. If not, you're going to get a lot of, let's just say, First Amendment activity and lumens of light facing your direction.
There's a reason why these guys were pardoned.
When we get back after this break, you guys, I'm going to tell you who else needs to be there the next day testifying. This is J6 coverage, as sick as it is.
We'll be right back.
Dan, you want to know what I love? What's up, brother? I love Don and Donna to death. They've been so supportive of January 6th and all. But man, when you come to visit them, they put you to work.
Dude, they just made us mow 62 acres on riding lawnmowers.
Yeah, and then they made me, under the hot sun, build a whole Lego set.
But you know what, though? One good thing about coming here is they always offer you a nice cold bath.
Absolutely.
And what better way to have a nice cold bath than with Sugar Creek Goods? I'm using the Sunshine Serenity.
And I was using the Valentine Surprise, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, if you've got a bath going and you're not using Sugar Creek Goods, you're missing out.
Dude, just look how it lathers up. It's just amazing. So make sure that you don't miss out. And go to sugarcreekgoods.com.
Oh, and you know what else? They've been very supportive of January 6th and the entire community. So you actually got to buy them for that fact alone, on top of the fact that they got great goods.
So just make sure that everybody that you support them because they support us. Go to sugarcreekgoods.com.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
You want to pay J6ers? You're damn right I want to pay J6ers. If you got wronged by the government, then you should be made right. That's America.
Pay them now. How many weeks do we have to play that bumper until something starts
Don
happening?
is fired up now.
I could barbed wire. I'll have to bleep that out. All right, let's bring these guys back in. Listen, the second day after the three of you go in and testify, here's who needs to come in. Kenny Harrelson, Dan Caldwell, Kelly Meggs, Jessica Watkins, Jeff McKellop. These people sat in prison, in jail cells, with their tablets duct taped to the cell above them, watching the 44,000 hours. Dan Caldwell's got a stack of notes. The FBI raided Jeff McKellop's cell and took his notes. But Jeff McKellop, as you guys know, being a Ranger, he hadn't forgotten that stuff. He hadn't forgotten it at all.
Yeah.
Dan Caldwell still has a stack of notes that he made. Body cams, timestamps, CCTV camera numbers. They've got it all. These guys are subject matter experts with regard to the footage. And this committee needs to haul their asses in there, put them under oath, and let them testify. And we've been asking that to the point of ad nauseum. We ask it of elected officials and politicians, and they walk away from the interview.
Well, and that's the bigger picture. They don't want the truth to come out. I mean, they just financed the National Endowment for Democracy.
Now, I'm done.
I'm sorry, Ivan, go ahead.
Continue.
Day 3, we bring in Chief Stephen's son, Tarek Johnson, and Shane Lamont, head of Intel at DC Metro, as they lay out the whole Fedsurrection play by DC Metro and Capitol Police.
Isn't Shane in prison right now? Shane's in prison right now.
Yeah, Lamont's still in prison.
This is unbelievable.
Hey, this is kind of a novel idea, and then I'm done. They could watch all the Cowboy Logic episodes for the last 5 damn years, and they could get all of this testimony. They could see the drop gun. They could see all of this going. They could see the altered footage for the Oath Keepers trial that was a joke, Stuart.
Yeah, it really was. All right, but see, to me, this is the bigger picture, because you've got auto
I'm going to
pen.
calm down now.
Okay. We've got auto pen pardons for the two slime balls on that committee still. Why did they need an auto pen pardon? Because they know damn well they lied. These people should be in prison, not Oath Keepers and Proud Boys. Okay, so the bigger picture, and we were talking about this earlier with Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, he said critical infrastructure, clean the voter rolls, because you don't go anywhere if we don't get this election set properly. And you say invoke the Insurrection Act as well. So explain that, Stuart.
So do both. Well, here's the thing. President Trump should do the Insurrection Act and a mass declassification and exposure of all the corruption. I would start with the judges first, but then right into Congress. And he should do it now, because we, the base, need time to challenge, put up good candidates, real America Firsters, to challenge the corrupt incumbents in the Republican Party in Congress, to replace them in our upcoming primaries in March. Most places is March. We're running out of time. Because if he does not have real America First candidates running for election after those primaries, doesn't matter what else you do, the Republicans will lose the midterms, because the base has blackpilled on the traitors that are still inside the GOP. So the way to do it is to expose them, along with all the other corrupt Democrats and judges on both parties. But you expose the rot inside the Republican Party, you take them down, even the ones he's endorsed. You can say, well, now that we know what they've done, I withdraw my endorsement. Gives us the base time to run real America Firsters. I'll run for office in Texas, for example. We'll go in there and clean out the rot in the primaries, and then run good candidates.
Who does that, though? He doesn't have time. Who does that for him?
Does what? Tulsi Gabbard can do that for him.
Okay.
The DNI has absolute authority, pursuant to his delegation to her, to go and declassify anything. That's what I've been calling for since 2020. I wrote that first article in 2020, open letter to President Trump, invoke the Insurrection Act. And he should invoke the Insurrection Act right now to put down the insurrection in Minnesota. But he should go beyond that and use it to expose the rotten side of the CIA, FBI, NSA, kick them all out of the building. They go home on paid leave. You bring in the military intelligence under Tulsi Gabbard and Pete Hegseth, and go in there and use SOCOM troops and SOCOM intelligence to go and declassify, leave classified anything that's legitimate national security, but anything else, declassify it and expose it. In other words, the exact same thing DOJ was starting to do in the government, but do it for all of it every branch.
Yeah, bring it down. Hey, this is a red letter show because Ivan has actually not said that much, which is totally amazing.
All right, and then it's my turn to speak. The only thing that I would add to this that Stuart just said, it would be nice for those individuals from military intelligence that were unvaccinated, unjabbed, that would be spearheading the effort to dig into this, because they all of them proved up. They proved up during COVID tyranny, and by extension, that means that they rejected anything and everything while they stayed within the system against the Biden illegitimate, belligerent, criminal syndicate reign of terror.
Amen.
Yeah. God bless you for
I'm going to bring a little light-hearted humor to this, and I need to ask Ivan a very important question.
Uh-oh.
I know you don't wear 5'11" nightmare pants. And the reason that I know you don't is, and Jeff McKellop can attest to this, 5'11" does not make pants big enough to fit the size balls that you've got to do what you've been doing. And I want to hat tip you to doing an amazing job with what you do, sir. You do great work. Everybody needs to follow both of you guys, but you guys got to follow Ivan. 5'11" can't fit him. That's what I'm saying. And you know what I'm talking about.
There's just so much to that's going on.
Yeah, you and Lego Man and McKellop running around in your little Ranger panties.
All right, what do you guys have to say?
Yeah,
here
we want to give you each a minute here to kind of close this out. Ivan, you go first, buddy.
Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, so I think the key points here that we wanted to make today, thanks for having us on the show, is that one, the Insurrection Act needs to be invoked. There's no one better and more knowledgeable about that subject than Stuart Rhodes, and hopefully we're going to put something together over the next couple of days articulating in detail what that looks like for the president's courses of action that he has. Number two, January 6th is just one of the components of the continuum of the coup that President Trump needs to invoke the Insurrection Act in order to defeat, right? And particularly, we listed all the different names in the past. And then the last point I want to make is if he does not invoke the Insurrection Act, you're going to see on steroids times a trillion squared what they did to him, his family, and us, specifically the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, after January 6th of 2021. It is going to be like combine all of that with the Charlie Kirk assassination, with the attempted assassinations on President Trump. I expect that to escalate even further. So the only way to stop that is peace through strength, overwhelming strength.
Yeah, you'll see. The summer of 2026 will be exponentially worse than the summer of 2020. Open rebellion, and they will impeach him, and they will, like you said, like Ivan said, they'll run the clock out on him and impeach him and remove him from office, and then they come back in power. It'll be with a vengeance far, far worse than it was before. And they'll do it to every American patriot. It'll be like the Soviet Union for all of you, not just for those of us who were spirited away to the, Moscow on the Potomac.
Yeah, not just those that are in Arctic frost. I love the way those.
He can go down as the most consequential president in our 250-year history. Oddly enough, the 250 years is this year. Or, they will erase his legacy if he does not make bold moves.
They'll destroy our country. So we are going to push him. We're going to act as though we were his attorneys and write out in writing everything he would need to pull the trigger on these actions we advocate for. That's what we're working on over the next few days.
Good.
All right. Keep us posted. Guys, got to.
Let me give send go /oath. Okay, /oath. Okay, please help Stuart Rhodes, folks. He's on the front lines fighting along with Ivan, and we thank you guys so much.
Gentlemen, we want you to stay with us.
And he's back on
We close
Twitter.
the show.
Oh, he's back on Twitter. Cool. Okay, good.
Yeah, so
all right, we're running out of time. Gentlemen, hats off. Ladies and gentlemen, hands over your hearts for the most beautiful national anthem ever sung, that by our beloved J6ers in C2B. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for trusting us with 2 hours of your time. We'll see you next week. Thank you, gentlemen.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.